This is Techie and the Biz, a podcast to explain and simplify how business technology is changing and why it can benefit your organization. MetTel, a digital transformation leader and nationwide mobile communications provider, recently launched Mobile Device as a Service, coupling MetTel's leading wireless service with a fully managed device offering that covers the entire life cycle of secure enterprise mobility, from device deployment to return and ultimately to recycling, enhancing the experience of its mobile service portfolio to enterprises nationwide. This is Techie and the Biz. My name is Erika Silber, and I'm here with my co-host, Max Silber. We are a podcast here to explain and simplify how business technology is changing and why it could benefit your organization. Today, we are talking with Tim Hanley, Senior Vice President of Channel at MetTel, to get to better understand MDaas. Before we get started, I have to mention you were named a Top Gun 51 leader by the Channel Partners in 2020. A Top Gun 51 leader is defined by someone who possesses integrity, knowledge, confidence, and the ability to inspire others. Channel Partners said that you were instrumental in making mobility and IoT a huge focus for the partners. I think the coolest part is that this award is a recognition of your peers. Master agents, industry analysts, and distributors nominate executives for this award. So congratulations again on this recognition.
Thanks, Erika. I appreciate it.
To start off first, I would like to ask Max to explain what MDaas is and how different from simply getting device and services from a mobile provider.
Sure. So MDaas, or Mobile Device as a Service, is a mobile lifecycle management program. Now, what that really means is a company can deploy mobile devices to their users without the need to involve IT in the process every single time. Think, for example, of a new employee joins a company and they get a mobile device shipped directly to them, whether office or home, now that we have people in hybrid as well. And the shipment includes a carrier that works best in their geography, the mobile device that they chose, all the necessary accessories like the case and screen protector. And all they have to do when they get the device is hit the power button, and the device will program itself over the air with all the necessary applications and security compliance profile that IT requires for that specific company. So much simpler than the current process they use today.
So you're saying it's like a one-stop shop. You get this full range of mobility services at a simple fixed price.
Exactly.
Tim, does MDaas save a company money compared to how they buy mobile service today?
It does. As part of our process, we do a full assessment of customers' invoices, spend, overages, devices, ETF. We do that analysis. We do a comparison of what that would look like in our MDaas environment. And traditionally, customers should expect to save somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 20% off of their current rates transitioning to MDaas. And that doesn't include all of the other ancillary services that are included as part of our MDaas services. As an example, if a customer is using like a third-party telecom expense management to audit and provide financial statistics around their spend, that's included as part of our service offering. If they're paying a third party to do staging and kitting, or the whole RMA process of a broken device, those are obviously expensive elements that go into managing mobility. That would be in addition to the 15 to 20% savings of hard dollar costs, and that can be substantial.
Tim, you work with some large organizations in the United States. Can you give a few examples of where switching to MDaas has proven to be an advantage for your customers?
Yeah, we often joke when we speak with IT professionals, and whether they're big organizations or small, they all have one thing in common. They all have that room. And we often joke about it when we're meeting with customers to say, hey, where is your room? And they kind of look at you with that puzzled look, and you're like, the room where the cell phones go to die, the one that you have 100 devices with sticky notes that have telephone numbers and ex-employee names. Well, in our MDaas solution, that room can be repurposed to something more useful other than the cell phone cemetery. And everybody gets a chuckle, but it's relatable to everybody, because anybody that manages mobile environments, they all have it. An employee leaves, whether they go to another company or whether they're terminated, inevitably that cell phone comes back to a place and is stored, and no one knows what to do with it. In our solution, We provide full end-to-end management and lifecycle of those devices. So we free up real estate in addition to providing savings and efficiencies in mobility as well. The other important thing is in most organizations, IT professionals need to be present to manage mobility. Whether it's configuring a device or whether it's the device breaks, they need to be there to ship it and reship it. That goes away in our MDaas model. Again, we provide the full lifecycle management of those services, and that is now a fully managed MetTel responsibility and no longer the responsibility of IT professionals.
No more sticky notes.
It seems like
no more sticky notes.
It seems like flexibility is one of the largest benefits. And like you said, it does free up IT to allow them to focus on other projects. Max, if I move and my network coverage isn't as good, what options do I have with MDaas? For example, we live here in New York, where many people head out east for the summer to be closer to the beaches. Many will continue to work and conduct business from a more remote location. How can they stay connected?
I think that's a common question. And the good part of MDaas, or the good part of how MetTel implements MDaas, is all the devices we ship out in the field are actually unlocked. So through the pandemic, great example, even before people were thinking of where to go for summer break, we were getting employees saying, hey, I moved to a new geography. I'm just not getting the coverage that I had on my previous carrier. The nice thing about unlocked devices is you don't have to send the old device back to the existing carrier and get a new device and go through that whole process. We would simply overnight a new SIM card on a new carrier to that user. They pop it into the phone. They quickly port over. We have an automated process to port their telephone line over to the new carrier, and they're up and running. So essentially a 5-minute process to get them back up and running on a new carrier.
Seems like a positive that would lead to higher customer satisfaction.
Definitely higher customer satisfaction. MetTel's mobile program has won Stevie Awards now for 7 consecutive years. So certainly that's part of that benefit that yields really high customer satisfaction.
Tim, does MDaas work for smartphones? What about tablets and MiFis?
It does. We don't discriminate on device type. MDaas supports all of those devices and more.
What if a company was split with the devices used? Half the people were using Androids, half iPhones, although I don't know anyone that really uses an Android besides Max over here.
I love my Android phone.
Yes, we know you do. I mean, someone has to keep that text thread green throughout the message.
That's right. I mess up the iMessage.
But what happens in this situation? I digress. How would you work with this with MDaas, with split devices?
The device type, the operating system is somewhat irrelevant in the solution. We manage that process for our customers, and a lot of customers, regardless of industry type, have very specific equipment needs in order to support their business. It's all supported under our MDaas service offering on our end. Yes, Max is a unicorn with his Android devices, but there are other organizations that also use Android and use Zebra devices and other ruggedized devices in certain industries that we support. And those are all covered through the service offering.
Great. What is the typical time frame from the initial engagement to kickoff?
A lot of that will depend on the size of the engagement, the customer requirements are, but I would say typically most engagements average around between 60 and 90 days from when the engagement is kicked off for our customers.
It seems like a great solution for a larger company, but is it also beneficial for smaller companies as well?
It is kind of going back to the room where cell phones die. Again, that doesn't discriminate for size of organization as well. So big or small, all organizations have the same challenges of supporting a mobile workforce and mobile environments. And this is a great platform for both large and small organizations.
Tim, could you tell me how many MetTel customer support team members would be assigned to an account?
Somewhat dependent on size of the engagement, but I can tell you that regardless of size, we have really 3 unique teams that get assigned to an MDaas deployment. We have a group within our organization called NCS, New Client Services, which is our dedicated project onboarding team. which would be assigned to help customers onboard regardless of what the scope of that project is. We also assign a dedicated primary care rep. They're responsible for all day-to-day activity, but we engage them early on in the process during the onboarding so they know all of the different nuances that are involved with onboarding or transitioning a client to MetTel MDaas. And then we also have a billing analyst that gets assigned to our customers to ensure that billing is accurate prior to it going out and an invoice being cut. And if there are any issues or adjustments that are needed, they have a dedicated resource within our organization to get those resolved timely.
Great. Max, are companies that are already using cloud-based programs more likely to be interested in MDaas?
I think really all companies have an interest in MDaas because it's just a better way of provisioning a phone or a better way of delivering service to users in the field. Companies that use cloud-based programs today definitely reap the most benefit right out of the gate because we are provisioning these devices over the air. So any cloud-based environments that will get pushed directly to the device as part of that initial programming or provisioning process. But certainly any company has the challenges that I think we covered here today. And like Tim called it, the new term I picked up, cell phone cemetery. Every company has that challenge. And really the concept of MDaas is automating the process and streamlining the process so that companies have a better experience overall, regardless of whether they use cloud-based solutions today or use any other application-based or app-based solutions.
Max, can I get the latest iPhone through the MDaas program? I mean, who doesn't want the latest and greatest?
Absolutely. You can get the latest iPhone. We carry every iPhone model that's out on the market. We also carry every Android phone that's out in the marketplace today. So you could get whatever you want as a company.
I think a common thought would be that devices would be handled especially well during the pandemic when people were home and remote. But for some reason, I think the opposite actually happened, at least in our home, while you were multitasking, Max. Remember, you were making breakfast, answering the phone, grabbing the dogs from running out the door. The phone had no chance. Tim, you have a big crew in your house. How was it over by you? Any tragedies with the phones?
Just a weekly occurrence. Yeah.
So what happens in this situation?
Well, I think that part of MDaas or part of the benefit of MDaas is a certain subset or percentage of devices can actually, for a certain percentage of devices, we actually ship the user a new device as a replacement throughout the contract term. So in my case, I was under MDaas, my device broke. I had a replacement device shipped to our house overnight, and the box also contained a return label. So I just dropped my phone that had a crack in it and dropped that box off at a FedEx location, and the phone went back for repair or recycling back to MetTel's smart warehouse. So certainly there's a percentage. It's usually 15% of the total inventory that a company has can be replaced at no additional charge, and that's every 12 months. So that actually resets every 12 months.
And if I needed to replace my phone, do I replace the same model, or is it possible to upgrade at that time?
So we usually encourage that users replace it with the same model. That's just to make sure that they don't intentionally break their phones to get a new one or a better one. But you do have the option at that time, and certainly as a company, you have that option to also choose a newer or a better device and pay the slight difference in the monthly charge for that device.
Erika, you'd be very surprised when there's a new release of a phone that comes out. There oftentimes is a lot of breaks on phones that we receive. It's just, it's
such a
It's
coincidence.
amazing how that happens. Just a big coincidence.
We call it the miracle of October, because that's around when iPhone announces a new model.
Maybe that's what's going on in our house. Now that I think about it, it seems like that's when things are really going down.
That's right. That's when everything magically breaks.
Tim, with the recent Great Resignation, many companies are dealing with employees that could be leaving with sensitive information. Companies may be hesitant to hand off so much control to an outside vendor. How do you reassure a company that MDaas is a good idea and it's safe?
So MDaas incorporates automation into the configuration of the device. That in itself avoids individuals from manually having to configure the device, inherently making it more secure. We've built over the years a lot of automation and process to make sure that process is secure for our end users. The second thing that I like to point out that MetTel provides MDaas to both commercial and federal agencies. And the benefit of the federal practice is that our network has gone through many security checks and is hardened to meet the requirements for both Homeland Security and the U.S. Department of Defense. So even our 24/7 care team that is U.S. based has gone through federal background checks to ensure that your data remains safe.
Tim, have you gone through a federal background check?
Many. Going through one right now.
Well, that brings us to game time. This is where we get to know Tim Hanley a little bit better.
Oh, boy.
For this game, it's going to be drinks, deals, or defer. This is a game where I give you 3 people and you tell us who you would like to have drinks with, who you would like to make a deal with, and who you just will defer to another time. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Number 1, Ryan Reynolds. In our house, better known as Wade Wilson, aka Deadpool, well-known actor and stake owner in the gin company Aviation, also a stakeholder in the prepaid carrier Mint Mobile. Sammy Hagar, frontman for Van Halen, also from Sammy Hagar and the Circle. He founded Cabo Wabo and Cabo Wabo Tequila long before social media and celebrities were jumping into the alcohol and spirits game. He's since sold his stake for a reported $80 million. He has a residency at the Strat Hotel in Vegas. And did I mention that he's 73 years old? An icon of music and not too shabby in business as well. And number 3, John Cena. Professional wrestler, actor, best-selling author, and rapper. Did you know he was a rapper?
I had no idea he was a rapper.
On top of his WWE success, John has had multi-million-dollar deals with partnerships and with companies like Honda and Gillette. Prior to his wrestling career, John, who is from Massachusetts, attended Springfield College, where he played for the football team wearing number 54. He was actually all-time captain in 1998. A little fun fact, I think people would be super surprised to know, and correct me if I'm reading this wrong, but in 1999, you too, Tim, were Springfield College football all-time captain for the Springfield football team.
Don't sell me short. It was 99 and 2000. It was actually 2 times.
I see a helmet in the background. Is that your helmet?
It's one of the helmets. Yeah, I think I actually took this one from a golf outing, but I do wear the Springfield College pride on my sleeve for sure. It's a great school, and John was an amazing guy, an amazing athlete, and I did know that he was a rapper. I knew he was a rapper before he knew he was a rapper.
Wow,
when we were in college, he would go on these little riffs in the wee hours of the morning and make us all laugh. And we're like, wow, he can actually really rap. That's pretty wild.
Wow. I think that's cool. I don't think anyone probably really would even know that, you know. Did you actually play ball with him?
Oh, yeah. Yep. So we were obviously on the same team. Unbelievable athlete. He was a good buddy of mine. We got to spend a lot of time together. Lived in alumni hall together for a couple of years. So, yeah, John, I always, well, two things. One, it gives me a little street cred with my kids too, to let them and their friends know that this old bald guy once was cool and knows some pretty cool people. So that in itself is pretty cool. But I actually learned a lot from John. John's work ethic, even back then, was tremendous. And I take a lot of what I've learned in through our friendship and just watching him, grind every single day into a lot of different aspects of my life. So that's even awesome. Though we don't talk to each other on the phone every day, he's making movies and I'm selling telecom.
Hey, you never know.
That's right.
You never know. Maybe he'll get you in the ring one day.
I would like that. You know what? I try to keep somewhat fit just in case I do get that call.
Just in case you get the call.
I will be ready to go.
So who will be? Let's review. Ryan Reynolds, Sammy Hagar, John Cena. Drinks, deal, defer to later.
So drinks, I actually would like to have drinks with John Cena, just because I haven't seen him in a while. I think that would be fun for us to get together. I would invite you guys, of course.
We're there, Tim.
I mean,
And that would get us some sweet.
I didn't get up early and do my hair for this podcast for nothing. Like we're in this for the long. So drinks. What are the other two? Defer and
deal.
So I'd like to make a deal with Ryan Reynolds. He's pretty popular in our household with my wife and others. Handsome guy, successful. Sure. I'd like to do a deal with him. And then I'll defer on Sammy.
All right. I know. I mean, he is up there, but you could get him.
Old.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us today, Tim, and helping us understand the benefits of MetTel's MDaas program.
I enjoyed it a great deal. Thanks for having me.
To learn more about MDaas and any of the other MetTel mobile products, visit mettel.net or contact your MetTel sales representative. Thank you.